Ryan, you and I have we've met quite a fair bit a while ago.
Yeah,
Around, I'd say it was around 2017. Excuse me, I first discovered Jackbox's Twitch. This was before I created an account and the old moniker that has been lost to time.
sure.
I was like, ooh. I saw something called Survive the Internet, when Pack 4 was still in development.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this is nice.
And had you played any Jackbox before that, or was that the first time you saw anything?
I I believe I believe got the first party pack for the Xbox 360. It was the
Yeah.
one that was that had involvement by Telltale.
Okay. Yeah, I think they probably published the console versions. That's right.
Yeah, so I don't think this was I do know they did physical copies,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I saw that in the wild.
Yeah, I think they just published. I think Telltale published disc versions of some of those early party packs.
I see. Um, I think I first got my experience regarding first experience. I first saw You Don't Know Jack for the first time. I think my memory's not super clear on this, but this was around I'd say around a decade. I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I saw gameplay of Jack for the first time. This was the 2011 version,
Right.
and seeing it for the first time was it caught my eye. I liked the humor, and it was pretty funny. Getting to experience Cookie Masterson for the first time. That was
Yeah.
pretty that was pretty cool. I still have a love for a cookie.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 12 years old when the first Jack came out for PCs, and it was one of the first things I ever saved money to buy. Which I think that's accurate. You might say shouldn't a child save money before they're 12? I don't know. That's how I remember it. But I saw it on a kiosk in CompUSA, and they let you play 5 minutes of it or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, when I pick an answer, this guy actually is talking to me like I am in the room. And it blew my mind, and I had to save up for it. And I've been a bit of a fan ever since of the series.
Interesting. That's what I loved about Jack. It's a different kind of game show. It's not
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I really liked about Jack is, well, many things. I loved how the questions were written. They were very nicely written. You could say what's a good example? What's a good example of a question? It was the first question that I saw was, how many Earths can you stuff in the planet Uranus? It was oh, it's this kind of game. I see.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's so funny you said that, because I was gonna say oh yeah, with the Jack question, it's sort of a puzzle. It's almost every one of them is almost like a lateral thinking puzzle where you have to apply one thing to another thing and then come up, and then I was like, oh, but sometimes it's just a butt joke. That's true.
Or sometimes Brady Bunch gets involved, and
Oh, there was a lot of Brady Bunch in the early ones. Tons of Brady Bunch.
whoa. I don't exactly remember all of it, but I can imagine they were fans of the Brady Bunch. Were they? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think the thing with the original writers of Jack is that I think that was a period when everybody had grown up on reruns of the same dozen shows. So
see.
if you made a Brady Bunch joke, your audience was gonna get it in the early '90s, because at least for me, I grew up on Nick at Night, and so I watched a ton of Brady Bunch and Dick Van Dyke Show and shows that I should not. I Love Lucy, that were off the air long before I was born, but when you were
see.
a kid in the evenings, that was what was on in reruns, or after school sometimes. And so I feel like we don't quite have that anymore. Now we have so much options with streaming and stuff, which is a good thing in its own right. But we can't make a joke about a particular show and pretty much guarantee that every single person who hears it will get it. But there was like that was the big advantage with Jack is it's like okay, we're all children of of TV. We all know these shows. How do we use that in a trivia game? And it came out so well.
Sorry, I've got this image in my head of like a teen like rushing back home to watch I Love Lucy.
I know, right?
Like, Mom, turn on the TV.
This is before Yu-Gi-Oh was invented. It was all they had.
I gotta know if Ricky does the thing that he wants to do.
If he puts her in the show or not.
That's like in its own right, like it's fascinating. Like I'd say like Jack has like introduced me to shows that I've never heard of. Like say like I didn't know about the Honeymooners. And let's say like Jack was like the game that like introduced me to like what the Honeymooners is. It probably wouldn't be. I think it might have been like something else, but like I'm using that as an example. But like it's pretty cool, honestly. Like
yeah. I feel like that was the case with me and Jack for a lot of things that I hadn't heard of before. The same thing with like Animaniacs. Like I remember that show had all sorts of references to like TV and movies that I had no idea what was going on. And also like original Warner Brothers stuff too, like Looney Tunes. And that's cool because you can like, you know, either you go out and learn about it or years and years later when you're watching an old movie, you're like, now I understand that joke that Yakko was making.
Now I get it. There's another part of like Jack that I adored, and it was like just the amount of unique wrong answer responses that it had. Like, especially in the old games, like it had like a lot.
Yes.
And they were pretty funny. Like, okay, so like the television version, hosted by Schmitty, another host that I like a lot.
Yep. Yep.
There was this question that was like, there was a question that had like the answer choices was like eyebrows, who needs them? You would pick it, and then Schmitty would go, you know what, my thoughts exactly, and then he would just rip his eyebrows off and like go, yeah, what was I thinking?
Yeah. That's
Schmitty
like...
was just weird like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love Schmitty. Phil Rittorelli, who does Schmitty, one of the funniest actors I've ever had a chance to work with. He's awesome. But
Schmitty was like, Schmitty was like so energetic, like in the early days. Like TV, he was like, wow, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but the wrong answers were really fun. I mean, that was like a product of in the early Jack writing a wrong answer, a custom wrong answer joke for every answer. So you had like an intro joke, the question itself was usually a joke. You had to write audio for all 4 of the questions, and then 3 wrong answer jokes, the right answer read, and then the box 6, which was the joke that plays after the correct answer. So there's a lot of writing for every Jack question.
I've got you to thank for the definition of a box 6.
Oh,
and I think that was like fairly early on. It was like, I wonder what that means. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's based on the box that we type the jokes into in Funkmaster, the software that was used to write those questions. But that wasn't even when I started working at Jackbox. That wasn't even the box anymore. It was like we had already rearranged how Funkmaster works. It was just like a legacy name that it just stuck.
You grew up with like Jack throughout your years, and you got to be a part of like in a Jack game, like the 2011 version, right? I know you've done some like voices for that, and fast forward to like 2018, you get to direct your child, like the game you've like grown up with. Like, how did that feel? Like getting to like direct something that you've grown up with your life.
It was amazing. It's still one of my top career moments. Like when I started, I started at Jellyvision, which was a company that was sort of a sister, or is sort of a sister company to Jackbox. When I started, they were one company. So Jellyvision had made the old You Don't Know Jack games. This was 2007 when I started. Jellyvision had made the old You Don't Know Jack games. The You Don't Know Jack games had sort of fallen by the wayside, and then Jellyvision was now starting up this like program to do basically agency work, but writing like talking websites that would walk you through complicated concepts in a fun way. So like I was writing stuff for like how to buy a computer and how to like buy health insurance and why you should use Geico and stuff like that. But over in the corner when I was working on that stuff were like 3 or 4 people who were like, maybe we should start Jack up again. And there was a small games division. And over the years I was at Jellyvision, it grew and grew, and I was always like kind of side-eyeing, like, I'd like to be over there. That looks pretty fun. And then eventually the 2 companies split into different companies, and eventually there was an opening and I moved over to Jackbox. But yeah, so like I was in the 2011 Jack because I was just around the office, and people would just like grab Jellyvision folks and be like, do you want to be in a commercial? Because they just needed different voices,
I think I remember that commercial. I think it was like something called the Cloud Registry.
I think so. I think I was in a few of them, but that sounds right.
Yeah, you were playing like the guy who's like getting a gift from this guy. Like it's a certificate for a cloud in the sky.
That sounds right.
That sounds like something Jack would do.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a funny and also kind of desperate idea, which I feel like most of the commercials are, where they're like, we got to write 100 of these. What else? Clouds.
Totally a real thing. You just did that by cupping your mouth with your hands. Well, happy birthday, buddy. Gotta go. Bye.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Now, I was like, yeah, I think I vaguely remember that. And then when you said happy birthday, buddy, I was like, right, I definitely did that line. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh.
But getting to direct in Pack 5 was like amazing, and I was like, I talked to Arnie about it, and we definitely wanted to do sort of a tag team approach, and we got to sort of kind of revamp a game we both really, really loved and cared about in a way that was really, really fun, and tried to sort of modernize it. And I think it went over pretty well. I don't know. Yeah. It didn't have the like legs like a Trivia Murder Party, did, but because that took on a life of its own. But I think a lot of people like that, Jack.
Yeah, I think like I really like that, Jack. I really like Full Stream. I think
good.
That the subtitle was called.
Yeah.
I do want to mention it, but again, the old moniker, like I remember like oh gosh, I remember like okay, so there's like I know that Jack has like many Easter eggs throughout its like lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say, listening to that Easter egg for the first time just completely took me by surprise, and I had like some sort of like fanboy moment on the inside.
Good, I'm glad.
Oh man, still such an honor to this day. Like, thank you so much.
Of course. We wanted to like do shout outs for like some of the, people who we knew had been supporting us.
Yeah. And I'm like one of the many people that have been by your side, like kind of like a father at at his son's graduation. Like,
yeah.
That's my boy.
I've always thought of you as a father, Joel.
You mentioned commercials earlier on, and that's another one that I loved. The commercials in Jack, like I remember a lot of them. Like, let's see, a few from like 2011. Mm-hmm. Nighttime Putty.
Yes, classic.
Bloodco. Bernie's Baby Browning Tanny Meds.
Yes. Yep.
This one from 2015, High Horse Coffee, which you were a part of.
Yes, High Horse Coffee, very funny.
I have that mentioned in sticky notes. I just love how like it just goes into like this direction of like, let's take it a step further. We despise you.
I think Warren wrote that and brought it. That was a 2011 one that we brought back for 2015, I think, or 2018. But like, I think Warren brought that to me and was like, we need someone to record this, and I was like, thank you so much. I'm honored because this is hilarious.
It's just like this tirade of like, this coffee is wasted on you. There's not really a commercial, but another one I have mentioned was Hans Hansen, which I believe was in like 2011. A question that you were involved in, I believe. You were playing this like aquarium guy who's brought in a jellyfish and like stings Cookie.
Oh yeah, that's the only question I got to be in 2011. That's right. Yeah, that was great because I got to actually do stuff opposite Cookie. That was like a dream come true at the time, and still is.
I remember. I know someone did like a video of like showcasing like the wrong answers in a 2011.
Yeah.
I know one of them is like urinate on it, and I remember you going like,
yeah,
if you insist, and just like zips.
Yeah.
You were zipping sound effects.
Right, exactly. My greatest acting moment.
I can't believe that Hans was gonna go that far.
Yeah. Well, of course, anything to humiliate Cookie. If you insist.
No, I will live with it.
Around Party Pack number 2, you became like a host for one of the games, Earwax.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I wasn't at Jackbox as an employee yet. I was still at Jellyvision, and they had moved to different studios, different offices, but like it was walkably, a walkable distance away. And I guess maybe somebody had asked me to come in because they were looking for a host for Earwax, and they needed it to be they needed to make the game really quick because Party Pack 2 was like production was wrapping up and it was the last game I think approved, and so they needed to like get it done super fast. So they needed somebody who they could just like leave in a booth and not have to do a bunch of direction, I think. So I think it was literally between me and actual text-to-speech software, and I was fighting a literal robot for the job. And I luckily beat out the robot, but yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. I got to be Mother, and I got like a cool little effect to my voice. I remember the original audition that we almost went with was more of like an Epcot style, like sort of read where everything was like, it's the city of the future. Everything's like that, But then I think they wisely were like, that's going to get old. So just talk in your normal voice, which I did. But that was a lot of fun. I loved Earwax is still a game that I hope they bring back at some point because it's a lot of fun. It needs like a couple of little tweaks, I think, and it would be perfect.
Now I've got like this thought in my head, like, hello there, girls and boys. Welcome to Earwax.
Yeah, right. The old-timey announcer guy.
We've got a lot of fun. We got a lot of fun here today.
It could have been. In another universe, that's Earwax.
Set in the 1930s. I don't think I've played Earwax in a while. I do remember enjoying the concept. Like, it was a fun concept, and I know you can make some funny combinations.
Oh yeah,
I've seen some of the combinations on like
car crash and sproing.
Yeah. And like any there's like a soundbite where it's like a guitarist strum, and it was like someone going, "Oh yeah," and it's just like
right.
That kind of music. I'm just gonna say, you know what I'm talking about. Going back to the notes here, going back to like full stream, like the two ones that I've mentioned are Lying Punch and in like bold italics, it used to be a Pizza Hut with 3 exclamation marks. Your acting on that.
Yeah, I love that.
Your acting on that was really good.
I love that one.
Like,
yeah, it used to be a Pizza Hut was one where Arnie was like, I think some of these should just be like, you're clipping into the middle of a show and then you quickly clip away. So like, they're not full commercials. They're just little like snippets. And so he wrote like a dozen things for me to like scream into the mic.
Like little incidentals.
Yeah, exactly. And it used to be a Pizza Hut was one of the funniest ones. I also really like, gluten, and then the sound of a laser gun.
Oh, that's a good one too. I love that one.
Yeah.
I imagine like this like anime like looking scene with just like a giant muffin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just going up in the air and just like this snap cut to like a boy like just like in horror and then just like a laser coming out with a muffin.
Yeah, and I'm glad you like Lion Punch. That's one I actually wrote. I didn't have a ton of time to write commercials on full stream because we were really busy. But Lion Punch, I had to get in a Iron Fist joke at the time because Iron Fist had just come out on Netflix, and I was like, "What a weird and lazy show!" And I just wanted to like make fun of it. And so that was one that
I
we
am
like.
the Lion Punch.
Yeah, exactly. This sort of bumbling karate master who is incredibly stupid.
This is a suicide mission. I think the ending bit to that is my favorite. Like, Lion Punch! Ow, my hand!
Yep. Evan Jacover recorded that entirely in one take. And like the parts where it sounds like he's making mistakes are real, and I left them in because they're great.
Punch! Punch! Boom! Flip around!
No, wait, he's pretty bad at that too, actually. That's Lion Punch on Binge Bite. Please, just give it a chance.
Lion Punch! Ah! Ow! My hand!
If we're talking like favorite commercials, like spanning around like the entire Jack series, like what would be your favorites?
Oh my God, Uber Nostrum is a classic.
Yeah.
From one of the real early ones. Uber Nostrum. It has one of my favorite reads in Jack history where there's a woman who's like, I know it's going to sound crazy, but it makes me feel more like a woman. And then a guy comes on and it's like, it makes me feel more like a woman, which I enjoy as well.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Is it Vince Van's Vans? The one that Arnie does where he's just a guy selling vans with a complicated name.
I love that one.
There's the rhyming dictionary one that Steve-O did. Was where he just refuses to rhyme.
I animated that commercial like.
Oh, did you?
I think around 2 years ago. Like I was like still getting the gist of like animating.
I gotta see that
on like a new software, and like I think for the time, like I thought this like turned out pretty good, and like I feel like it still like turned out pretty good, but like Stan's rhyming dictionary is. I like how it subverts your expectations. Like, we rate our products so high, we really believe it's the best book money can purchase, or something like that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. And also, the way Steve-O was great in delivering those lines, because he would be like, we rate our product so high. Like, he would really emphasize it, like, he's going to bring it in for a rhyme this time.
You want rhymes? That's what you need. We've got a book of rhymes that's a pleasure to browse through. So check us out. Our dictionary is truly sublime. It's really the only place to go when you need 2 words that sound alike. Thank you.
But yeah, I like that stuff a lot. I like Tim Simeon Chimp Mechanic. Like I like all the ones from like the web game that were just little prize commercials. Those are really funny.
The Facebook/mobile one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What about some of mine? Okay, this is from like the classic era. It was like I don't remember the full name, but it went something like this: Ice, watch out. Why? Slippery. Oh.
Right. The Department for the Condescending Paternalism.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you. I like those like variations of it. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I think one of my favorites of that would be liquor. Don't drink that. Why? Mine. Oh. It's like, yeah, don't drink that.
Yeah, right.
That belongs to me. It's like, it's not even like saying like liquor bad. Like, no, liquor mine, not yours.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Another one that comes to mind would be like Chalky the Chipmunk, like the cereal mascot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we didn't bring him back in full stream, did we? We just ran out of time. But yeah, he was hilarious.
If you were to like bring him in, what do you think it would be about?
Well, I don't know. They kind of already, I think they brought him back for 2011 and did like an allergy parody serial, right? Where they were like
allergy clusters?
Allergy clusters. That's right. Because it was like to toughen up the kids with allergies. I think that was the whole point.
I think my favorite bit of that commercial is just like the kids like weekly say, "Yay!"
Yeah, right.
Like, they're so enthusiastic, parents.
Right.
Yeah. What's another good one that comes to mind? Let's see.
Here, I'm gonna open my secret file here and try to find of all the commercials that I've liked that I've saved. Let's see.
Let's see. what's some good commercials that I remember? Oh, right. I do like the law offices of Edgar J. Penrod. Another one that I've animated.
Yeah, I saw
like,
your animation
recently.
of that. That was great.
It's just like the dark. I like the dark comedy aspect. Like, but I like how it's not like. I like how it's like still like dark comedy, but like still plays it safe. Like,
Yeah.
I just like that twist. Like, if you said yes to both of these questions, like, chances are that you're the one that did the accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Call us today. It's like, you can tell that attorney is very trustworthy. Like, please don't sue us.
I like all the binge pipe ones we did too for 2018 that were like just about how binge pipe is this like insane, Orwellian computer overlord that is watching you, but don't worry about it because they're letting you, enjoy their content, and everything is content. Those were also really funny.
Yeah, it's like, I think those are fun. Like, what's a good one? Like, it's one of those like we are binge pipe moments. Like, I remember one guy.
Yeah, we did a bunch of those.
One guy going, "I think I'm a ghost." It was like so out there. Like, it's like out of nowhere. Like, they like, sure, we can include that. Anything for advertising. Right. There's like a good amount of like stuff like that I liked from like full stream. Like, the Jack attack was like, I feel like completely reinvented. Like, instead of like the one answer from this clue, it's like one clue and multiple answers that fit this clue.
Yeah, that was the very first thing. The first thing we did for Jack 2018 was we had to prove that some of the Jack elements would work multiplayer all playing at once, because there was a big sort of dictate to not do lockout, because when you do lockout with one person buzzing in and nobody else can answer, it doesn't tend to be that fun as a party game, because only one person is getting to play every question.
I could
unless they get it wrong and then somebody else can buzz in.
I could imagine that might have been like something that would have been like fairly challenging to work with if you were to ever like make like a new game from the Jack series. Like, probably would have took a while.
And so it did. We spent a couple months and we did work on the Disserdat and the Jack attack specifically, because I believe in 2015 they just picked one person to do the Disserdat, and then they would also have, you could kind of play along and get points if they missed it, but it was really only one person playing, and there was still lockout for the Jack attack. So we did the Disserdat, and we were like, we'll do really fast timers. Everybody picks, then we'll show who was right and move on. And that was a simple one. That just worked. And people liked that. And then for Jack Attack, it was a lot more difficult because we wanted the part of the fun of Jack Attack is like when people buzz in and get it wildly wrong and you get to hear the screams and the negative points.
Oh, yeah.
But we couldn't do that without revealing what the answer was or what the answer wasn't. We went back and forth a lot. Arnie did like the most work on it, like really just like chipping away and like trying to like design it to be as like lean and mean as possible. And then we finally figured out if we staggered and brought two answers on at the same time, then at least you wouldn't know which one was right and which one was wrong. So we could do all the screams, but you wouldn't know which answer it was referring to. And so you would still potentially get it wrong. So all we had to do was bring them on in pairs, and that kind of solved our problem. And then once that was like accepted as working, we were able to actually go and make the rest of the game.
I see. I feel like that. I feel like that was like something that I feel like it worked pretty well. Like,
oh, good.
Still like keeping like what made it work, and yeah, I'm not good with like game dev stuff.
Yeah, I hope so.
There's probably like people out there that are like way better than explaining like some of this stuff than I am. So.
No, as long as it like, I feel like these concepts have to work from a player perspective first. So like, you can get really in the weeds about why it does and why it doesn't work. But if you're saying it was fun, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Like, they don't need to be like flawless like creations. Like, if I enjoy it, I feel like that's what matters. Like,
yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Like, what did? So, like, I think you directed like 2 games for like Pack 6, like Dictionarium and Role Models.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I know that like Dictionarium can be like, I know Dictionarium's like one of the shorter games that you can play. Like, it's like a pretty quick game, like especially with like
Yeah.
something with like 4 players, like you can get through like pretty fast. What like what was like the inspiration for like those 2 games? Like anything?
Yeah, role models came from an idea that Ben Jacobs had, which was originally called "I'm the Zach Morris," and the idea was that you would, fight over who was who in a who in your friend group was the Donatello of the Ninja Turtles versus the Leonardo versus the Zach Morris versus the Screech on Saved by the Bell or whatever. And it played, but it played really well with like a charismatic host that was like being able to react really obviously to like the context of what was happening. So like knowing that Screech was the least most desirable character in that list or whatever. And so when we were trying to do the host, we were like, how do we do this in a way that's like smart? So we thought we would, when we worked on role models, we thought we would like make a lot of the interest around these mini games that you would play when there were ties. So like if 2 people were, the Donatello and it was like, but we both want to be Donatello, then they would play a mini game to like break the tie or like each write an answer or each do a little activity. And we spent a lot of time on that. And then the more we tested it, people were like, no, we just want to do the ranking. We don't really care about these mini games. So like at the last minute, we made it a lot less easy to get ties and we just let you vote on. People just ended up liking that a lot better.
I gotta know.
And then Dictionarium. Sorry, what?
I gotta know who's the real Donatello here, the Ninja Turtle or the Sculptor?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, because we play tested with a lot of ancient Italian Renaissance artists, so that was good. But Dictionarium was an idea from Andy Poland, I think, and it was just a matter of creating like a weird nonsense dictionary. And I instantly wanted to direct it when I saw the play test. I was like, oh, I have a lot of like fun ideas with this. I actually kind of regret that with Dictionarium, I feel like it could have been more like bigger than it was, but I was so like trying to fix role models that I didn't do as much with Dictionarium as I actually wanted to. But it's still a great game. I love both games.
Yeah. I usually see like role models as like just like what kind of role do we have? Like I don't think points really matter here.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
I just want to see the funny role.
Yeah.
There's like this one role that I had saved. I don't know if I think I still have it in my files. Hold on, let me check.
Okay.
Wait, I think I remember it. I think it was like something like buttery tall snack.
Yep. Once again, I've always thought of you as my father, and I've always thought of you as a buttery tall snack.
But what kind?
A Biscoff cookie.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with popcorn.
Also a good buttery
That could
tall
be
snack. Yes.
Moving on to like Pack 7, and you directed like Devils in the Details, and this was like I felt like that was like another like standout like game because it was a lot different compared to say something like Quiplash or Fibbage. Like
Yeah.
it was like that's what I love about Jackbox Games. It's like I love how it can be very ambitious with like its game ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the great thing about the party pack format is that you can experiment with weird stuff. So like, you're going to have 5 games, that like, hopefully, people are going to really like one, like 2 of them a lot, kind of ignore one and then hate the last one. That's sort of like always the ratio. And it's like, we could try to make them all the best game in the pack, and we do. But someone's always going to pretend that one of them is terrible and the other one is obviously a lot better, even though we kind of usually end up disagreeing. But the idea is that you can play with weird ideas, and if people don't like it, then there's 4 other games in the pack to like.
Yeah, and you pretty much that's how the internet is with. Yeah, like I like seeing like new stuff like a
Yeah.
Quicksword or Dodo Ray
Yeah.
in the recent pack. I really like how Dodo Ray
Me
came
too.
out.
That was really cool. I got to play that recently.
Just yeah, I was gonna ask about like that, like even though you're not with the company anymore, like I still find it like very heartwarming that you still
Oh,
keep
yeah.
in touch with the others. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
just
love those
really cool
guys.
to
I
see.
love those guys. And Pack 10 was great, and I'm excited for the Naughty Pack. I saw the trailer for that. That'll be cool.
Oh yeah, that the I wonder what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Like what naughty things.
I know. I know these minds. I know these minds very well. I can't wait to see them completely unleashed.
Anyway, going back to Pack 7
Yeah.
with Devils, like what was that like for you?
That was a lot of fun. That was a pitch that Chase did that was like trying to keep up with irregular families every day, and so you would get these tasks that were like the original like prototype he did was just like go vacuum the floor, and you'd have to like hold a button for X seconds to do it. So like there wasn't like anything on the phone yet. It was just a matter of like just take this amount of time. At least I think that was the case. I hope Chase doesn't hear this and say no, that wasn't what it was. But that was fun. But then when we decided to make it into a full game, we knew we wanted to make them activities that you actually did on the phone. And we also were like, why does it have to be just a regular family? And also, if it's a regular family, we're saying like this is a normal family. And then so if we make them, white, that's going to be like, come on, you don't want to say that like white is the default normal family. And so whatever race we picked, we thought we would end up being wrong. And so we were like, can we make them not human in some way? Is there a way to make it more interesting and funny? And we came up with Devils.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like was Devils like always like the was the Devils idea like there from day one, or was it something else?
No, we as soon as we started like talking about the game seriously after we would like formed a team, we were like, okay, it's not going to be just a family, right? It has to be something else. And I want to say one of the first ideas Owen Watson had was like, what about demons, like little devil characters? And I was like, that's fun. But then we kind of like were like, okay, but what else? Like that's not the slam dunk idea. What else is there? And we talked about robots for a long time, and we talked about a bunch of other weird options. And then we were like, wait, what about devils? Didn't we say devils a week ago? And we went back to devils. So yeah, it
Robot family.
Yeah, robot family would have been fun, but we've done so many games with robots already at that point,
Timmy, clean your room. You're not my real dad.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it opens up a lot of like opportunity for great bits. And like it's another example of like you could totally do the same metaphor of them trying to fit in a human world even though they don't understand it, but the Devils was great because they got to be from literal hell, which was fun. And we could do all sorts of like wacky stuff with the tasks that were all sort of demony.
The one of the things I really liked from Devils is the TV like sitcom opening.
Yes,
I love that. The beauty of Owen's art.
Yeah, Brian Chard's music. I got to write the lyrics, which was amazing. One of my proudest musical moments.
Trying to fit in.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, and making them like each a little TV episode with like a through line of tasks that you had to complete to beat it. I think that like it kind of worked out pretty well. We eventually ended up making it like way easier than it originally was to win because it was like impossible to win when we first started. But then we had we made like the way we originally tuned it is like the hard mode that's in there. So,
I remember like you did like when like Pack 7 was like released and we did like you did like this like launch day marathon. Like I believe like it was like you, Warren, Brooke, and our good buddy Stod like playing along. It was like impossible mode. Was it impossible mode?
There is impossible mode, which was actually literally never tested at all, and so it probably is impossible.
Oh no!
Especially if anybody like Stod does selfish tasks. Come on, Stod.
I remember that. I remember that bit of the stream. That was so fun to watch. Like
I know
Warren just being selfish. Like Warren, please.
Oh
man,
I'm glad those worked.
All right, moving on to like Pack 8. I don't remember if you've like directed any for Pack 8, but I do know you're involved in like some of the games like Job.
Yeah, Pack 8, I didn't direct, but I was an editorial lead for Job, and Weapons Drawn.
Yeah.
So I helped design the personality of M-Bubs and of the dueling hosts of Weapons Drawn, the evil murderer on your shoulder and the befuddled good guy party host.
Oh man, I'll get into like Weapons Drawn in a bit, but like seeing like M Bubbles like take off, like I've seen a lot of like fan art of them, and like, oh my god.
Yeah. I loved writing for M-Bubs. It was like, and that was Brooke Bright's first game directing, I think. And
I
she
think
was,
it was.
yeah, she was amazing. And of course, as she always is, and hilarious, and had this really, collaborative spirit. And so I think we all got to sort of touch the like soul of M-Bubs and like make like a really cool character together. A character that was like, it's beloved, even though they are like so bad at their job, which is what I enjoy. Like they were sort of supposed to be the villain of the game at the beginning, where it was like, you're trying to get a job, but this guy, clearly doesn't have any, talent or of their own or whatever. And then it just ends up being like, well, they're too beloved not to love.
Have you seen like the Jackbox like comics like featuring M
Yeah.
Bubs?
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
I saw those on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, and something I forgot to mention, like for Devils, there was like Jackbox tunes involving like the Devil family.
Yeah, I
think
saw
it's
that too.
Also on. Yeah, that was like really fun. Like getting to see like those characters like animated like in like another format. It's like really cool to see.
Yeah. I think that we all sort of like, are like closet sort of cartoon enthusiasts, or not really closet. We all, it's sort of like, it's out there, at Jackbox. And so I think getting to see those now, sort of live in this like cool animated space is really, really awesome.
Yeah, like seeing like these characters like in like different ways and do different things, like it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on to like Weapons Drawn, which probably includes my favorite set of hosts in the pack.
Oh,
and
good.
Probably in general. I really love Tunix's performance as a Tippet, and
Yes.
Sarah's as the is it Sarah as the narrator?
Yes. Her last name is escaping me, but yes. Yeah, those guys were so awesome to work with, and we were able to set up this really fun sort of back and forth between them. Even though they didn't, I think they eventually met on a stream, but they had not met during production. It was all just recorded separately, and had them bouncing off each other because they were sort of not supposed to be that aware of each other anyway, so it didn't hurt it that much. But
so it worked all along.
it was all a plan and not what we had to do.
I think this might have been like, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this is one of the few games that like outsourced like VA from like another country. I think I believe it was like they are from like the UK, I think.
Yeah, both actors are from the UK, and we recorded. They recorded in their home studios. I sat in and directed them for like a session, I think, just to like get the ball rolling, and then they self-directed the rest of it because they both got the characters instantly, and very very rarely needed any kind of retakes.
They were like so good. Like
mm-hmm.
there's like a lot of lines from Tippet that I can recall like from my memory. Magna Carta, Sweet Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh right, yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. I know it's like a normal saying, but just like hearing him say Jiminy Christmas is
yeah.
And Tuna Carpaccio,
Yeah.
which is probably like my favorite exclamation.
Tuna Carpaccio.
Yes.
Yeah. Those we had to like figure out buckets of like, when do you hear the funny ones versus like the standard ones? How we don't want it to get old. Is it always like the second, murder that you hear the funny one, or what? And like, when do we had all these like random little Easter eggs in that game of like the crowd reactions, like people way in the background going like, I didn't do it.
Yes,
to, like,
you did some of
tune.
these. If I recall, you said like
I did a few voices. Yeah.
Yeah, I had like I've got written down here other incidentals like, and you went into that topic without just like smoothly like that.
I if you leave me by a microphone for too long, I'll record some VO and sneak it into a game. So it was bound to happen.
There's a few that come to my mind when it comes to like your incidentals in that game. This party sucks being one of them. Just like everyone like gasping and just like hearing that, I think is pretty funny.
That was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, and that was a cool game concept too from Arnie. That was sort of like it was sort of a mixture. Like Arnie had this idea called poop cake, where you were trying to hide a picture of poop in a picture of a cake.
Sorry,
and
I'm mature, I swear.
Yep. And I had been working on like a detective style game where you would have like clues that would self-generate to figure out like who to like point to one person in the party, and they had to like try to like lie to like get out of it. And so there was elements of what I was doing, but mostly we sort of leaned over to the poop cake model of like, well, what if they each have a symbol they have to hide in their drawing? And that
now
was
it's sword cake.
Now
it's
right,
sword
yeah.
cake now.
Exactly.
There's like, I really liked. I don't. Again, a lot of these I haven't played for a while, but I do remember liking Weapons Drawn. I just suck at it though.
I get that.
Coming from someone who does circles a lot, I mainly get the letter O. And they already know it's me. Good at art, not good at hiding. I'd be terrible at hide and seek.
That's true. Yeah. The it's definitely a sort of a weirder game in that regard. Like hiding is a lot harder, which is part of the fun, but also it's like I can understand why some people are like, I'm not great at it.
Another thing that I really liked about about Weapons Drawn was the art. I think Hector did it. Like seeing all the detectives and the guests, I think. I don't know if they were called guests.
Yeah, the guests, the dancing characters were the guests which all had ridiculous names. You would be trying to kill guests of specific players and stuff.
Oh gosh, it was like a good story, like involving like one of like the hosts, like with Tunix. Like I won't mention like any names, but like it was an experience. Like I got to like me and a few friends of mine got to meet them, and it was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I believe like we got to like play like games with like Lord Tippett.
That's great.
Yeah, like I think twice. Like I think we played a few others, and I do recall like playing like Weapons Drawn. We had a lot of fun with Weapons Drawn. There was this one. Okay, the one time we were playing it, like Tippett like mentions like Mother Tippett in the attic. Like, he claims that she lives in the attic. I think one of us named like the guest Mother Tippett, and when we found out that said guest was like murdered, I believe like Tunix just like exclaimed, "Mommy dearest, no!" A few rounds after that, like we found out like it was like I believe the last round was called like cold cases.
Yeah, you would find
like,
you could quickly do ones that you hadn't solved earlier. That's right.
Okay, so when we got to Mother Tippett, when we found out who murdered them, it was Tunix themselves.
Of course. He protested too much.
It was like
I knew it.
I remember saying something like, "I thought she lives in the attic." And then he said in his Tippett voice, "I never said she was alive."
Yeah, that's cute.
And I remember laughing. I remember like that line breaking me.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that was like so good.
He's hysterical.
Oh man. Anyway, moving on to like the final pack you were a part of,
Hmm?
and I would say like your swan song, Fibbage Quattro.
Yeah,
Fibbage
Fibbage 4. Fibbage 4 was so fun.
I know you did some like new stuff of it, like the Cookies VHS vault and Fibbage fan fact. Like, I think first time incorporating like videos for the first time in a game. Like, I believe royalty free. I think.
Yeah, that was the idea, and that was, I hope, still the case. What happened was we had not yet done video in any game really in a big way, and we thought it would be a fun thing to try to do in Fibbage, to have a new kind of like lying question that was around videos, and we knew we wanted to do a fan question thing because we thought that would be fun, and we could actually show a real person, and you would have to guess something about their real lives. Like that seemed like a no-brainer, and we tested that internally, and that seemed to work. And then we wanted to do questions around old movies, and it's really, really hard to tell which old movies are in the public domain and which aren't. We have, our...
I could imagine.
Yeah, we had our amazing lawyer, Kurt, do a lot of research for us, but mostly it was just going on like archive.org and trying to find like at least two sources that this movie was A, in the public domain, and B, had been like on archive.org and YouTube for long enough with nobody trying to take it down that we were like, well, it doesn't seem like anybody's claiming this. So like, and I mean, we did our best to like use dates and like did our research and like assume that like these lists that we'd found were largely correct of movies that had either never claimed copyright or had their copyright lapsed. And then we were able to take those and sort of go, okay, well, out of the like thousands of movies that are in the public domain, most of them are like boring informational movies that there's nothing interesting about. Is there anything we can do with the ones that are left? And CJ Tor was the head writer on Fibbage 4 and was like editorial lead and did a bunch of prototypes and tests for like how to like work these questions to sort of be funny, have funny video reveals, feel like a brand new type of thing, and sort of like be interesting. And then we did the final round was new too. We did the double lie, the blank that has to work with two prompts.
That was a pretty cool concept for the final round. Like,
yeah,
I generally think like Fibbage is like a great go-to if you just want like a simple trivia game experience. Like, I feel like
Fibbage
it works.
is I think Fibbage is still my favorite Jackbox game aside from Jack in general.
It's like, this is what happened. What's the thing involved? Like, I think it's a fun concept. Like, and probably like so far the only series to get like, well, next to Jack, of course, like to get like
4 entries,
4 games like in a series. Like,
like,
good lord, that's. but yeah, like Fibbage 4, like I know Bruno did the art, and I think he captured like, if I were to say, I feel like it blends in the absurdity of Fibbage's 2 art with Fibbage 3.
Yeah, it does feel like a sort of logical extension of those two. Like, and the cool thing about Fibbage is it doesn't have like a literal world that it takes place in, or like anything you have to respect. Like, it's not like this one's on a beach, so you have to do it. It's like, it's just Fibbage has always just been, it's weird. Do your version of weird. And Bruno's version of weird was like, his sort of whole thing was like, okay, well, the lies are sort of like, created by mixing and matching different things in these blanks. And so like, we're going to mix and match animals and mix and match like collages of old buildings and things. And it was like, mind blowing. It was very Terry Gilliam. It looked so cool.
Yeah. The mixed media technique. Like, yeah. It's a really cool, like, I like seeing like mixed media, like incorporated in things. Like, I know like Jackbox has done it in the past, like with Jack, like the chicken from the wrong answer of the game.
Yes.
And a lot of like the nocturnal admissions questions from 2011 as well. Like,
yeah, that's sort of like collage style. Yeah.
Yeah, when I think of Jackbox, that's the one thing that comes one of the things that comes up to me, like mixed media, like how they do mixed media.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a strong suit of Jackbox. Like they like take 3D stuff, flat stuff, photorealistic stuff, cartoony stuff. Like it all can kind of go into the pot because of the party pack formula. It can be since it's all these little vignettes of games, it can be sort of whatever each individual thing wants to be, and as long as the world is consistent in one individual game, each one of the 5 games can be completely different visually.
It's like I kind of like to compare it to like in some instances I like to compare some of the Jackbox games to a show called The Amazing World of Gumball, like how it just like blends in like different art styles in one.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of Gumball.
Yeah, and that's how I would kind of describe like Fibbage 4 and Talking Points and I guess in a way TKO 2, though kind of in a different way.
Yeah, I can see that.
And like, yeah, it's just cool to see, and the art is like coming from a fellow artist myself. Like seeing the art is always like a joy to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jackbox has like the most amazing artists working today. I swear.
Yeah, I just love the stuff that they do. Like they're all good, and like I think in this big book of Jack, that's the end of the book. The page turn, the cover slam, book over, and you're don't know if that was a good analogy, but like
sure.
Anyway, but like you're currently working for Netflix as a senior writer and game designer.
Yeah. Senior content designer is the title. I am a game designer and writer over there. I can't say what I'm working on just yet, although I'll come back and we'll talk again in secret amount of time when the game is out. But yeah, working on games with Mark Turowitz, who also used to work at Jackbox, and we're over there.
That was like another name that I was surprised to see. Like,
yeah,
oh wow, like,
oh yeah,
it's like I won't lie, like it did take me by surprise, but it was like I didn't know that you two were like working for like Netflix now. Like that's got to be like is it like different to what you've been like used to?
Yeah, I mean it's great so far. Netflix is, the way I like to talk about it is like our little group that's working on this particular new game concept is like a scrappy little group inside a much larger company. So it's great because we get the sort of best of both worlds. We're scrappy, we get to sort of invent things as we go, we get to try things out without a lot of oversight, but we also have the resources of a big company to use in creating what we want to create. So far it's been awesome. It's definitely different. Going from a company of about 100 people to a company of like 15,000 people. It's like crazy.
Yeah, Netflix is big like that.
Yeah,
along with other big companies.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild, but yeah, Netflix has been like really, really awesome so far. I've been there for about 7 months, and I'm really, really excited about what I'm working on. I wish I could tell you more about it, but it's gonna be real cool.
Like that actually like transitions well to another question that I had. Like having now like having you like now working at a new company, like was there like anything like that you've learned while at your time at Jackbox, like cool like tidbits or memories?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, everything I know about game design I learned at Jackbox, because I would say that I came into Jackbox with like a lot of creative knowledge and a lot of writing and directing project knowledge, but in terms of the like intricacies of game design of like, how can I make somebody feel this way through these mechanics, like all was learned at Jackbox, and it learned in the best way possible, which was like a group of really, really funny, clever people pounding at an idea in a room until it worked. Like when I first started at Jackbox, I was like pitching something for TKO or some idea, and like we were play testing it, and the general feeling in the room was like, well, this isn't working, it's not fun. And I was like, oh man, I must be really failing at this job. And then we tried something different, And then they were like, okay, now it's working. Now it's fun. I was like, oh, sorry. No, people were not like being mean to me. They were just giving me really direct, honest feedback. And it was like the most awesome experience of my life. Like that was like the best thing in the world, because now I know if I say like, what do you think of this? And someone goes like, that's a great idea. I know it's sincere. And if I say, what do you think of this? And they're like, I don't think that's fun. I'm like, great. Like that's information I can go about my day with. So like, I feel like that's helped me tenfold in anything I've ever done else, because it's like, I feel like I worked at other places previously where it would be like, we all love your idea. And then only later do you hear like, nobody liked your idea. We just wanted to say that. I would much prefer being like, this isn't fun yet. And then we make a couple changes. Now it's fun. Great. Now we're on the same page.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, I like the idea of like, this doesn't work yet.
Oh yeah,
like,
and that was the attitude.
We're not saying that it doesn't work at all, but like we can make it work. Like that's the stuff
that was
I
the
like.
attitude. It was very much like, how can we help you make this even better? But we're not going to sugarcoat it when it's not working. And I think that's a perfect combination.
Yeah, and again, not the best when it comes to like explaining like game design. I know it's not easy. Like, I think my brain would be fried if I were to like comprehend the stuff going on. To be honest.
Well, I think you're being mean to yourself, but I feel like it is a challenge, because like you really have to put yourself in the position of somebody who has no idea what you're doing, no interest in what you're doing. Like you can have a lot of good game tests internally because people want to like it because they work there. And then you can do like the same test externally and people go, I don't like it. It's not really working. So like you have to really put yourself in the mindset of somebody who not only does not know what your goals are, but doesn't really care. And can we make that person have fun anyway? Like, so it can be challenging.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this to you yet, but like if there was like ever like an opportunity like in the future, I would probably like, if I were to go somewhere, it would probably be like Chicago, so I could visit their headquarters, like get to meet them.
Oh yeah, I bet that would totally be doable. I bet they would love to have you, and like we can talk to Warren and stuff about it. I'm sure that would be doable.
Yeah, but like stuff like this, like talking from computer screen to other computer screen, like that can also work. Like,
sure.
Like what we're doing now. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like usually like nervous. I don't know if I would say I'm an introvert, but like I do go out, but like I don't go out a lot.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, I get that. I have those tendencies too sometimes. And also after COVID, like I feel like it totally reset my brain where I was like at least going out more often. And also, when COVID happened, a lot of people, including Jackbox at the time, had like basically switched to remote entirely. And my job at Netflix is remote entirely, which is really convenient. But yeah, I do have to force myself like, okay, this week you better leave the house and like take a walk, because otherwise you're going to get cabin fever.
Being a hermit crab is not what's all not the heaven.
No.
Is all it makes to
be.
It's actually kind of interesting. Like during around that time when the pandemic hit, like I know Jackbox like really like set like a high point for themselves. Like like there was like a bit of like a boom for Jackbox. Like a lot of people were like playing it. Like that's not to say that's not happening now. I do know there's like a lot of people like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, no, the pandemic was huge though. The pandemic was like a big, we ended up being just the right thing for just the right time, for the pandemic. And so a lot of people found us that hadn't found us before. And people were willing to set up games over Zoom, whereas like in previous, you'd always been able to play Jackbox Games over Zoom or whatever. But I feel like people were like, I'll wait till I'm in person. But then when they couldn't be in person anymore, they actually took that extra step of like, okay, how do you set this up? And like ended up having a lot of fun with it.
Seeing that happen, like seeing like go like very like popular like during that time, that was like, it must have been like a big surprise for all of y'all.
Oh yeah.
Time.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we like had quality stuff, but the fact that people were discovering it in such like a rapid, quick fashion was insane. And it was like really, really cool to see. And like, I definitely have people still today who are like, oh my God, I'll run into somebody at Netflix and I'm like, yeah, I'm from Jackbox. And they're like, oh my God, you saved my pandemic, which is so cool.
Thank you for saving my life.
Yeah.
How can I repay you? By playing Bladder Round? Consider it done. Consider it done.
My liege.
Yeah, like we've explained like our histories with like Jackbox, and like yours is like a lot extensive than mine, but like it definitely like I'd say it's like definitely like opened like my path to like meeting new people and
Yeah.
like making new friends. Like I'm still some of them I'm like still friends with today, and like
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's just really cool. It's just really cool to have like something that you've been a fan of for like I think I've been like a fan for like, let's see, like the 2017, let me do the math. 2017, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'd say 7 to 8 years now.
Yeah.
Like, granted, there are people out there that have been like fans, like I'd say even before it was called Jackbox.
Right.
And
but yeah, you're an OG. You've been around for a long time.
Yeah, like what have we watched / played lately?
Oh, good question. Let's see. I just started diving into Cyberpunk because that when it first came out, I was excited about it, and then it came out, and of course it was very broken, and so I thought, okay, I'll wait on that.
Ooh, yeah.
But I'm diving in now with the Phantom Liberty DLC and really liking it. I finished playing Baldur's Gate 3 a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
That's a great game. I put in like 280 hours too. Still playing. I'm determined now to go back to Hades and like fully beat all of it before Hades 2 comes out for real. I know Hades 2 is already out in like early access or whatever, but
oh, that's right.
but I beat Hades like maybe 3 times. I didn't really like, so I'm sure there's a ton of ending stuff I haven't seen I'd like to see. And what else have I been playing or working on? Play a lot of Nancy Drew, as you occasionally see.
Yeah.
And
I did see, like, I was quietly like lurking like yesterday.
Oh, cool.
I don't think I chatted, but I was like, I wanted to see what the Nancy Drew game looked like because I don't think I've seen it the first time.
Yeah, they were playing the newest one on stream, and it is real weird. It's still very Nancy, and like it has all the quirks of a Nancy Drew game in that the puzzles have this weird sort of specific oddness to them, and there's a little bit of stiltedness to it, but it's very fun. It's still a really fun sort of classic point and click adventure.
Let's see, what have I been playing? Like,
yeah, what have you been playing?
In terms of games, like, there's like stuff that I need to like come back to. Like, I know I've got like Mario Wonder to finish.
Oh yeah, Mario Wonder's great. I still have some levels to beat on that myself.
Yeah, not fully done with it yet, but I've enjoyed what it had to offer. Like, it was really vibrant. Another one that I need to come back to, Hi-Fi Rush. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, I never actually got into it, but I heard it was great, and I wanted to go back and try it.
Sorry, I've got a bowl of nuts by my side, so
the perfect podcast food.
I wonder what the top podcast food is. But anyway, yeah, like from when I played it, like I like really got into it. Like I really enjoyed like what it had going for it. Like, and with the recent news of the several like Bethesda studios, like,
I know,
being shut down.
It's the worst.
Yeah, like, gosh, like the game industry, man.
Yeah.
What's happening over there? Just because you can cover the fire with the tarp doesn't mean the tarp will be undamaged.
No, I mean, I agree. It's insane. I feel like a lot of that is just corporate bullshit.
Like, it's just very, like, higher up stuff that I just do not understand and to be fair, a lot of others don't understand.
Yeah, it's
I know people were pretty aggro when it came to like Tango.
yeah. I don't blame them.
Yeah, like I can fully understand why people would be very like mad about that. Like, I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty mad about that. Like, it's like the game was doing well. Like,
Yeah.
just because it's not like a friggin' like blockbuster doesn't mean it's worthless.
Yeah.
It's like, we got the gold medal. We don't need someone in the crowd saying it's still not a world record.
Yeah.
Anyway, another tangent over. Sorry about that. Like, I'm not a hugely negative guy, but like when stuff needs calling out, it's kind of warranted.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, yeah. From the time that I played Hi-Fi Rush, I just like the style of it, like I really like enjoyed. Like it's like so good. Like, and I feel like you would enjoy it too. Like,
I gotta try it.
The humor it has. Like, granted, I know it's not for everybody, but like there's like a lot of polish, and that alone I can like recognize. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I definitely have to try it.
I feel like you would like Cinnamon, the robot.
Okay. I like Cinnamon the robot already.
He's like he's got like a voice of a C-3PO.
Oh, rad.
Yeah. I think if I were to say favorites, I'm missing my words. If I were to say favorites, I'd say Cinnamon, Chai, and Peppermint so far.
All right.
Was there anything like you wanted to ask me like before we go?
Let's see. What do I want to ask Lemon? I mean, I would say I'll ask this. What's your favorite art thing that you've worked on recently?
Oh God. Well, I feel like that's gonna be hard to answer, but like,
Yeah, that's why I
I
wanted
can
to ask
like give out. I can give like some examples. Like, I've drawn a lot of like stuff throughout the years. Like, I've been drawing for like quite a while. Like, there was this one time that I did like a comic around like April Fools. Like,
Yeah.
it's about this guy like playing like some great prank, only for him to discover like he's way off his time. Like, it's way past April the 1st.
Okay.
Like, I just gave away the whole thing. I'm so sorry. You've been spoiled.
Okay. Well,
But like,
I want to see it. Give me a link at some point.
yeah, I think this might be like the first time I've done like a comic, like a mini comic. Like, and I think I'm proud. Like, I'm proud of myself for doing something like that, because I don't think I've done something like that before. That's one of the few examples, and it's actually funny. Like, when it came to like art, like, I remember like doing like a lot of like Jackbox fan art at the time, and when you were like around, like doing like the first day streams, like sometimes we'll go through the tag. You'll go through the tag, and we'll see like a bunch of like amazing art pieces from others. And I know you, when it comes to like people like mentioning like art of mine, you would be one of the first people that comes to mind. Like,
I'm glad.
Like, yeah, like, I know you've like said a lot of praises, like how much like I've improved, and
Yeah, it's great.
I'm really glad to like hear that, and I'll admit, like, I'm proud like that I've improved as well. Like, I've been doing a lot of like more complex like art pieces, like compared to like if I were to show like my past self like some of the art I've done, I think it'd be pretty happy to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that you have always been great and always had a distinct style, but I would say every time I see something from yours, it's better than the last thing you did. It's really cool to see you progress and get even better.
Oh God. Oh, you're too kind. Thank you
It's
so
true.
much. Like,
Yeah.
and like back before, like I know like seeing like all the other people like from Jackbox, like Allard, Dave, Brooke, and I think I from memory, like Andy, like Allard, Brooke, Warren, Dave, the ones that I can list from the top of my head. I know like
Sure.
them like seeing it, like it's pretty cool to see. Like
Yeah.
it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not good with words. Again, apologies, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I'm always happy to see stuff you do.
Yeah. Anything like to plug like before we like call it?
Let's see. I am Ryan DiGiorgi on Twitter and Blue Sky. I use Blue Sky way more now. I am
Yeah.
look for
Twitter's
I know
not
Twitter's a
doing
lost
so
cause.
good.
I stream on Twitch at RDGeorgie every week with my sister. We play adventure games. I look for games coming out from Netflix. If you're like, Netflix has video games, then do me a favor and check your Netflix account, and you'll see some video games in it. And none of the ones I made are in there yet, but you're going to see some good ones soon. Well, some even better ones. There's already great ones there.
The day we see the day that your name appears on Triviaverse.
Yeah, right.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you for thank you for taking the time for doing this.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm happy to do it. It was a great conversation.
Yeah.